You are standing inside a NASCAR garage. Millions of dollars spent on engineering, simulation programs running around the clock, setup sheets covering every surface. Your team has done everything right: the data, the models, the preparation. The race begins, and through the early laps, your car is perfect. The setup window is hit exactly as the projections predicted. Then the track changes, temperatures shift, tires begin wearing differently than every model projected, speed bleeds away. The car fights you on every corner exit. Your crew chief scrambles over the radio searching for adjustments, and you are trapped, locked inside a setup that no longer matches the racetrack beneath your wheels. Somewhere behind you, a driver from the other side of the world is getting faster. What just happened at Nashville wasn't just a race result, it was a warning shot. And most of the sport didn't even hear it. Nashville Superspeedway is a track built for precision. It rewards engineering mastery, setup accuracy, and calculated execution. The expected post-race script writes itself every year: finishing positions, playoff standings, powerhouse organizations dominating the headlines. NASCAR's official account noted after the race, "Nashville delivered his strongest oval performance yet, showing remarkable adaptability as track conditions evolved." But inside the garage, an entirely different conversation was quietly spreading through the paddock. It wasn't about who won, it was about what just got exposed. A driver nobody expected to be this relevant on an oval not yet, not this fast, had just turned every pre-race calculation inside out. To understand what happened at Nashville, you have to understand how modern NASCAR actually operates. The margins are razor thin. Organizations like Hendrick Motorsports and Joe Gibbs Racing did not build dynasties by accident. They mastered a system built entirely around one objective: finding the perfect setup window and staying inside it. Simulation departments run thousands of variables before race day. Engineering teams project tire wear, track temperature shifts, and balance changes to a degree of precision most fans never see. And this system works until it doesn't. We are NASCAR Racing Central, closing in on 1,000 subscribers, and if you are serious about understanding this sport at the level the garage does, subscribe right now, hit like, drop a comment, and share this video with someone who follows this sport, because what we are about to get into is exactly the kind of breakdown that channel deserves. The hidden vulnerability nobody discusses publicly is this: when the setup window disappears mid-race, even elite teams look completely ordinary. The Teardown Pod put it directly: modern NASCAR often rewards hitting the perfect setup window. SVG's background seems to reward adapting when that window disappears. Dirty Mo Media added, "Some teams looked locked into their setups." That's a valuable skill set. The sport's greatest competitive strength engineering perfection may also be its greatest structural vulnerability. Nashville just put that reality on display for the entire garage to examine. His name is Shane Van Gisbergen, and everything he did at Nashville should make the biggest organizations in this sport deeply uncomfortable. Born in New Zealand, built through the Australian Supercars Championship, a multiple-time champion in a series that demands drivers survive and thrive in imperfect, evolving conditions, not just execute inside a carefully engineered window. His 2023 Chicago Street Course debut in the Cup Series produced an immediate race win and immediately produced the dismissals. Road course. Doesn't count. Wait until real ovals. That criticism seemed fair at the time. Oval racing has broken far more credentialed outsiders than it has welcomed. But Nashville complicated everything. Shenevg97 said after the race, "Every oval race I'm learning something new. Nashville was a huge step forward. The car changed a lot through the night, and adapting to it was probably the most satisfying part. That word, adapting, is the one that matters." While other drivers were trapped inside deteriorating setups, SVG was adjusting in real time. When the balance shifted, he responded. When tires aged beyond projection, he found a new line. When the groove changed, he located it before the data did. That distinction mattered more than any finishing position on the results sheet. What makes the Nashville performance genuinely alarming for the rest of the field is not the result in isolation, it is the pattern. Qualifying pace was a cited weakness. It improved. Long-run tire management on ovals was a cited weakness. It began improving. Oval adaptability was projected to take years to develop. Nashville just complicated that argument in the most direct way possible. NASCAR on Reddit framed it precisely. Every few weeks, another SVG weakness disappears. First qualifying, then race pace, now oval adaptability. The improvement curve is getting hard to ignore. Dustin Albino added, "Most drivers spend years figuring out changing oval conditions. He's improving at an unusually aggressive rate." Veteran NASCAR drivers invest entire careers building the instincts that SVG appears to be constructing in months. The rate of development is not following the standard rookie trajectory. Nobody fears a finished product. Everyone fears an unfinished one. Oval Track Talk identified the core concern. The scary part isn't where SVG is now. The scary part is where he'll be in another season if this learning rate continues. The public conversation and the garage conversation are not the same conversation. Competitors are not measuring SVG against where he stands today. They are measuring him against where he stands next season and the season after that. NASCAR Truths reported, "Elite teams aren't worried about current SVG. They're worried about future SVG." That's the conversation starting to happen behind the scenes, Jordan Bianchi observed. Shane Van Gisbergen is becoming far more complete than many expected this early in his NASCAR career. The uncomfortable mirror NASCAR is now staring into is this. If SVG's adaptability represents a genuine competitive advantage, what does that reveal about drivers who cannot adjust when their setups fall apart mid-race? RaceHub fan asked the question directly. The more NASCAR depends on simulation and engineering precision, the more valuable a driver like SVG becomes when conditions stop matching the model. At the philosophical level, what unfolded at Nashville was a collision between two entirely different racing cultures. Australian supercars racing is built around long events, shifting conditions, imperfect machinery, and drivers who must problem solve in real time without the safety net of perfect engineering. Modern NASCAR has evolved into an engineering arms race simulation, mastery, setup precision, driver execution calibrated to a perfected window. Garage Area 5-1 put it plainly. SVG came from a racing culture that rewards adapting to imperfect cars. NASCAR increasingly rewards perfect setups. Nashville felt like those two philosophies colliding. The question now circulating in media and fan circles is whether NASCAR's technological evolution has accidentally constructed a systemic blind spot, whether teams have become so dependent on perfect models that driver improvisation is being systematically undervalued. Racing Analytics framed the stakes. If adaptability becomes NASCAR's next competitive advantage, SVG could be one of the most important case studies in the garage right now. Sponsors notice performance trends before the broader fan base does. Manufacturers monitor future stars obsessively. Bob Pockrass noted, Van Gisbergen's progress on ovals continues to trend upward. Nashville may have been his most convincing demonstration yet of adapting throughout a race. The argument that has dominated SVG's NASCAR narrative, does he belong, is being replaced by an entirely different question. How high is his ceiling, and is anyone in this sport prepared for the answer? Pit Road News stated it directly. Nashville may eventually be remembered as the race where people stopped asking if SVG belongs and started asking how high his ceiling really is. Return to the garage. Same millions spent, same simulation systems running, same engineering excellence that built every dynasty in this sport, but the question has changed. It is no longer can we build a faster car. It is what happens when the racetrack stops matching our model and there is a driver in the field who was built exactly for that moment. What happens when SVG's oval learning curve meets championship level resources? What does it mean for NASCAR if adaptability becomes the sport's next great competitive frontier? How many more Nashvilles happen before the garage stops whispering and starts reacting? Cup Series critic left the argument exactly where it belongs. I'm still not fully sold on the hype. But even skeptics have to admit Nashville was a legitimate step forward for SVG on an oval. Nashville didn't give us answers. It gave us a question nobody in this sport is ready to answer. And the longer SVG keeps improving, the louder that question gets. Do you think SVG is already a legitimate championship threat? Or is Nashville still too early to call? Drop your take in the comments. This is the exact debate this sport needs to be having right now. Share this video with someone who still thinks he's only a road course specialist. If you enjoy real NASCAR breakdowns like this, you'll like what's coming next.